Part 12. Learning from Singapore, Exploring Canada's Future Path. Singapore's successful model stands in stark contrast to the so-called democratic systems currently in place in the West. Singapore's success is not accidental but is achieved through its unique management philosophy, long-term policy continuity, and strict leadership selection and assessment systems. Elements of Singapore's success. 1. Long-term governance and stable policies. Singapore's ruling party has maintained the stability and continuity of political power since the founding of the country. This long-term governance model allows Singapore to formulate and implement long-term strategies, ensuring the coherence of national development. Compared to the frequent changes in power in Western countries, Singapore's policies are less affected by short-term election cycles, thus better promoting national development. Long-term governance also gives the government enough time to implement and adjust various economic and social policies to ensure their long-term effects. 2. Professional and efficient civil service system. Singapore places great emphasis on building a clean, professional, and efficient civil service team. Civil servants are ensured to have sufficient knowledge and skills to serve the country through strict screening, assessment, and continuous training. This system not only makes the Singapore government highly efficient in policy implementation but also ensures that national interests take precedence over personal or party interests. Singapore also maintains a high standard of salaries for civil servants, effectively avoiding corruption. 3. Strict leadership assessment and accountability mechanisms. In Singapore, leaders need to have rich political experience and must undergo strict professional assessments. Each leader must demonstrate their governance capabilities and actual achievements before taking office. The Singapore government has a comprehensive accountability mechanism, and any official who is negligent, derelict, or corrupt during their tenure may face accountability and punishment. This strict governance ensures the integrity and professional capabilities of leaders. Appointment system versus election system. Professor Zheng Shiqiang once criticized the Western democratic system, considering its election system to be a party-spoils system, where national resources are distributed through elections rather than truly seeking long-term interests for the country. He advocates for an appointment system, where professionals elect talented individuals with both morality and ability to serve in leadership positions, rather than relying on politicians who are good at campaigning. The appointment system emphasizes professional background and actual achievements, while the Western election system often overlooks the candidate's professional knowledge and actual political experience. In Western countries, many candidates have no professional political background and lack the knowledge and skills necessary for national governance. Progress in any professional field depends on internal elites and experienced practitioners, and laymen find it difficult to truly understand and control complex political and economic systems. However, the current form of Western democracy often allows ordinary voters, laymen who are rubbing their hands in anticipation, to choose national leaders from a group of candidates who have no actual talent and are good at verbal tricks. Most voters cannot assess the real abilities of candidates, and the election process becomes a talent show where political tricks outweigh actual governance capabilities. Canada's current issues. Canada's electoral system is a typical example. The Trudeau government has won several elections, but his performance during his tenure has disappointed most Canadians. During Trudeau's tenure, extravagant spending has led to a sharp increase in national debt, and ordinary voters know little about him and the long-term impact of his policies. Many voters, when voting, do not care about the candidate's professional ability and are only attracted by the politician's short-term promises and slogans. For example, I have many friends who voted for Trudeau's Liberal Party in the last election. Their reason was fear that the Conservative Party would impose higher taxes on investment properties other than the family home if they took office. As a result, they found that not only did Trudeau's government increase a large number of taxes, but it also accumulated a huge amount of debt. To fill this financial black hole, it even proposed to tax the family home. This phenomenon of politicians neglecting long-term governance and only serving short-term interests is precisely the drawback of Western democracy. The limitations of Western democracy. The so-called democracy in the West is more of a formality. Elections seem to give power to the people, but in reality, because most voters do not understand the operation of the political system and lack in-depth assessment of the candidate's moral qualities and professional capabilities, the results often elect politicians without real talent. This not only leads to slow national development and low efficiency but also exacerbates social division and contradictions. In contrast, Singapore's system can ensure that truly capable and visionary leaders take office, ensuring the long-term stability and prosperity of the country. This is also why, despite Singapore's lack of resources and even needing to import drinking water, its people's living standards and national development speed have long surpassed resource-rich Canada.